Hello, this is Taylor. These are 21 healthy habits I've gotten decently good at that I wish I knew sooner. And no, I'm not gonna tell you to sleep 8 hours, drink water, work out, although you probably should. These are all a bit more unconventional, niche, specific. So let's jump in. Number one is to get nice lighting. This does not have to be expensive at all, but oh my God, there is nothing worse than overhead lights or even worse, the blue hospital lights. Buying a few really nice diffused lighting options I think makes a bigger difference than any other interior decorating element you could think of. So in my bedroom, I have these sconces, a floor lamp, and this bulbous thing, which honestly, I'll probably change out for a more mature looking bulbous thing in the near future. And in my bathroom, I have these vanity lights, which added bonus, also dim. So none of these were expensive and they all emit a really nice, warm, diffused light that just make me feel calm and happy. Unlike these overhead recessed lights. Trust me, it makes a difference. Number two, speak clearly and remove filler words. So I really cannot stress enough how much speaking clearly instills confidence and enhances your credibility as a speaker and as a person. But don't take it from me, take it from John Gray, who's the COO and president of Blackstone, just a very impressive individual. And I'll also never forget this. When I was interning there the summer after my junior year in college, John Gray was not shy about the fact that he takes public speaking classes every single week because he knows how essential it is to be good at that skill as a leader. Of course, it comes more naturally to some than others, but it is 100% something that anyone can practice. Really focus on enunciating and practice taking a pause to think about what you're gonna say before reverting to like, or It might feel uncomfortable at first, but it really makes a world of difference once you nail this. Now, there is totally a balance to strike here, as with a lot of these, you'll see. But I know some people who take this, honestly, I think way too far, where it feels like every time they're speaking, they're delivering a keynote speech and they're gesturing like this. Like, chill out. Be a human, feel natural, just don't say like every 2 seconds, and enunciate. You'll seem like you know what you're talking about even if you don't. Number three, wear sunscreen daily. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody, nothing, and I mean nothing, looks as good in your 50s as sunscreen in your 20s. The amount of research there is on the effects of chronic UV radiation on your skin it's conclusive. To illustrate, check out this picture of a truck driver whose left side of his face was exposed to the sun for 28 years on the road, while the right side of his face was shaded a lot more often. Now let's get more specific because I want this video to be as actionable as possible. What sunscreen is the best? Dermatologists will say that the best sunscreen is the one that you will wear, aka whichever one feels the best on your skin and whichever one you're actually excited to put on. It is recommended though to wear at least SPF 30, ideally SPF 50, because these numbers have the highest jump in protective efficacy compared to lower SPFs. I'll show you some of my favorites because I do have quite a collection. Ulta MD is super popular. I really like this tinted one, especially in the winter when I turn ghostly white. And then anything by La Roche-Posay I absolutely love. That's kind of my bread and butter brand. I wear SPF 50 or 60 every single day in the summer, and these ones are my favorite because there's no white cast and they're nice and liquidy, kind of like a serum. And like I said, I'll link all these in the description, plus other ones that I don't use, but that I know are really popular and highly rated, and that I have used before. I've tried every sunscreen. Number four, love this one. Practice progress, not perfection. This is something I try to remind myself often, and it applies to really any habit that you're looking to build. Most things do not have to be all or nothing. So let's say you're trying to start a daily streak of eating healthy every day or going for a run every single day, but you miss one day and then you think, I failed. No more of that, and then you give up. Honestly, this is kind of dangerous to making any progress at all because for most people, it is just not realistic, and that's okay. Life gets in the way, and it's okay to miss a day here and there. The best thing that you can do is just get back on track as soon as you can. Doing something well, let's say going for a run or eating healthy, 80% of the time for a full year is much better than doing it perfectly every single day for a week and then giving up. Chip away little by little, and then in a year's time, you'll look back and be like, whoa, when did I get good at that? This was exercise for me, which brings us to our next point. Number five, think about exercise the way you think about brushing your teeth. Let me explain. So I haven't talked about this a ton on my channel, but sports and athletics was pretty much the biggest part of my life until I went to college. I was a high jumper and a sprinter primarily, and I also played club volleyball for a few years, which was so much fun. I also got super into rock climbing in high school after a full childhood of scrambling on any rock I could find. The point is, being active and being an athlete was a huge part of my identity. So when I went to college, not for sports, and lost that built-in structure of having track or volleyball practice every single day, I kind of stopped exercising, at least with any sense of consistency. And that carried until a couple years after college too. So what changed? Because now I work out consistently, and I have for a couple years. Well, first, I found a workout that I really like, even though it's an absolute kick in the ass. Thank you to Barry's Bootcamp. And I started folding that workout into my weekly routine, little by little here and there, you know, not every single week, but every other week, and then it turned into once a week, and so on and so forth. And then eventually, it just became a consistent thing, and somewhere along the way, I started thinking about exercise the way that I think about brushing my teeth. As in, it's just something I do. It's not some special deviation from the norm that bears highlighting. It's just a standard operating procedure that I do for my health. The same way I brush my teeth and take a shower, I work out. Important note, this is really where I practice progress and not perfection. So this is not me saying that I work out every single day, because I don't. But I do consistently work out some number of days every single week, which is something I fully could not have said a few years ago. And it was really all because of this mindset shift of thinking about it as just something I do, and from finding a workout that I really enjoy. Number 6, buy storage bins. Maybe the top design principle I took away from my mom is out of sight, out of mind. Meaning, sure, my things aren't totally organized in their bins, and it would be nice if they were, and yeah, that's been on my to-do list for a while. But you know what? As long as I don't see it, and I know that things are for the most part filed away in their respective bins, I don't think about it. I can make my place look spotless when I need to when I'm hosting a party, because everything is just out of sight, out of mind. And I think like this because, for those who don't know, I grew up on an RV for 3 months every single year, which is such a small space. And so I saw what my mom did. I wasn't the one organizing things, but I had to get good at good storage. Well, now I have to get good because I live in a small New York City apartment. So anyways, having solid storage options and just receptacles of various kinds, it has been a lifesaver in maintaining a tidy space. Again, especially if you live in a small New York City apartment like I do. Number 7 is get out of the house. This is a big one for me, whether it's because I feel like I'm in a funk, or I'm not being productive, or I just feel like a crumb. I almost never regret going outside for a short walk. Throw on some good music or a podcast, or just silent, and walk for like 15 minutes. Even if you still feel like a crumb when you get home, at least you got outside, you got some fresh air, you moved your body, you listened to some music, and that is rejuvenating and healthy in its own right. When in doubt, get out of the house. Number 8, stop mistaking busyness for productivity. Okay, so I'm halfway through reading Deep Work, and it is calling me out in a way that I've never felt called out before. In the chapter I just read, busyness as a proxy for productivity hit very close to home. During a day, we might be extremely busy answering emails, being on calls, taking meetings, brainstorming ideas with anyone who comes into our office. And at the end of a day like that, we might feel, wow, I was so productive today. But did we actually make progress towards the task at hand? Maybe, depends on what your job is, but most likely, no. My task at hand is to make YouTube videos. Yes, of course, I have other goals and side projects that I dedicate time to and that need my time, but really, my main task is to make videos. So if I find myself on calls or emailing for a large portion of the day, I really wasn't productive. I was just busy. Now, of course, the reality is that calls and emails are unavoidable and they're necessary, but there are ways around them taking up large amounts of precious hours that you could be using to work deeply on the main task at hand. The first way is to batch them. So spend the first 20 minutes or hour or whenever throughout the day works best for you to tend to those things. And then work deeply for the next however many hours you can get. Admittedly, I'm not very good at batching communications, but I know some people who are very good at it and it works very well for them. Now, honestly, I still have a long way to go on this habit. I still let certain distractions flow like yogurt when they shouldn't. But hey, progress, not perfection, am I right? Number 9, buy an air fryer. Okay, that is very specific to me, but here is the general habit. Figure out like 4 or 5 really quick, easy recipes that you can just have on rotation for weeknights. This removes the guesswork each day and makes grocery shopping a lot easier. I honestly don't even think that meal prepping would save me a lot of time because I do these certain recipes so quickly, with the air fryer specifically. I just have chicken and salmon as my meats on rotation, which cook in the air fryer with the click of literally one button. And then while that's cooking, I usually boil some water to cook farro, rice, or some other grain. And then I'm usually working on a little side salad while that's all going. Literally in 15 minutes, I have a really good, delicious, balanced meal. Number 10, lift weights. Strength training. It's probably my favorite form of exercise besides like playing sports with friends or going out on walks and stuff like that. Now, the benefits. No, it's not just getting stronger and looking more toned. Improved metabolism, bone health, joint health, reduced risk of injury and chronic pain conditions, better posture. It slows down the aging process because we naturally start to lose muscle mass as we get older. Enhanced cardio, mobility, flexibility. You get the idea. There are just a lot of really practical benefits to having more muscle besides just looking and feeling good. I look at my 100-year-old grandma, who is a beast by the way, but you know, she's old. And seeing her go about her day makes me realize that things as simple as getting up out of a chair without even thinking about it, or swinging your legs out of bed, things that, you know, someone my age, I don't even think about that. It becomes a real privilege at some age to be able to do that. I mean, it's a privilege regardless, but you know what I mean. And just having more muscle and being stronger allows you to do these things for longer. And ladies, or whoever needs to hear this, it takes a lot of lifting and lifting heavy to get bulky. You're just gonna look more toned and feel better. Kind of a win-win. Number 11, call your parents. If you have a good relationship with them and you're lucky enough to still have them around, spend quality time with them or whoever serves that role for you. They won't be around forever, so call them, text them, FaceTime them, visit them while you can. I've read a lot of comments from people who have lost a parent, or even people in my real life that say, you know, they'd give anything to have their parent back even for 5 minutes, so call them. Okay, number 12 is share your work. So I have a number of friends now in my, I call it my real life, like my college friends, not my YouTube friends, who have a listserv or a Substack newsletter, or they write movie reviews, book reviews, whatever. Just some medium where they share their thoughts about something they're passionate about. And for those friends of mine, I know that it's become a pretty big part of their lives and just a cool new way to engage in a different way or a little bit deeper with their friends. I often find myself replying to my friends' newsletters or their movie reviews about a specific part that I found interesting or funny. It's just a cool, slightly different way to stay engaged with friends. And then they maybe get to see another side of you and hear about things you find interesting that they might also relate to. So anyways, I share my work on steroids with a lot of people. You don't have to take it as far as I have. But to share your work with your closest friends and family and your biggest supporters, I think can be really impactful, and who knows, maybe it'll turn into something bigger. Number 13, eat more Greek yogurt. Okay, hear me out. This is really eat more protein. I just really like yogurt. But kind of like strength training, higher protein intake has a ton of benefits. Better muscle growth and recovery. That's why a lot of people drink protein shakes after they work out. Protein is more satiating than the other macronutrients, so you stay fuller for longer. It helps stabilize blood sugar, so fewer spikes throughout the day. What else? It supports immune function and hormone balance, supports brain function. Anyway, lots of other things, but this list is already kind of long. So fun fact, I try to eat at least 100 grams of protein per day. And I do this largely by keeping a few specific things on hand in my fridge at all times. Number 1 is my plain, no sugar, Greek yogurt, hence the name of this chapter. I'm a big yogurt girl. And the whole plain, no sugar thing is for a reason. I'm not just a masochist. Like a year ago, a friend of mine said, don't let the brand determine how much sugar is in your yogurt, because a lot of those Greek yogurts that are strawberry flavored or whatever, they have, yes, high protein because they're Greek yogurt, but they have a shit ton of sugar in them. If you just buy the plain, you can add whatever you want to it. You can add a banana or stevia or honey, like whatever it is, but you determine the sweetness. And so that's what I've done ever since. And now I kind of like the taste of the plain Greek yogurt. Number 2, cottage cheese is a recent favorite of mine, and it pairs really well with a ton of things. I think I had cottage cheese once when I was a kid, and I did not like it. And I think I convinced myself that I hated it for the next 27 years, but here we are, eating cottage cheese every day now. And finally, protein shakes or protein powder. I have tried literally every single one, and these are my favorites. Although honestly, I think they're all pretty good. Just find one that you like. I'll link my favorites down below. And then of course, chicken, fish, eggs. You get the idea. Eat more protein. Number 14, water the relationship grass. Here's what I mean. Flipping the grass is greener on the other side on its head, and instead focusing on the grass is greener where you water it, aka things get better where you invest your time, energy, and effort. I think this really applies to relationships. If you sense that you have a lot of chemistry with someone, whether that's romantic or platonic, don't ignore that instinct. Put effort into that relationship. And if it's an existing relationship that means a lot to you, water it. Support your friends, show up for them, ask how they're doing. Even a quick text or sending them a meme to show that you're thinking about them can go a long way. The number one indicator for a happy life is good relationships, so do not ignore this. Number 15, now kind of the flip side of what we just talked about, say no. Not always. In fact, I'm actually a huge proponent of saying yes. My life right now, as I know it, is largely because I said yes to a few specific things. But as I've gotten a little older, I know almost to a T the type of events and commitments that I don't find fulfilling. And getting comfortable with saying no to those things is pretty awesome. I think it's empowering to create boundaries and to prioritize your well-being over obligations that just drain your energy. To be clear, this isn't just saying no for the sake of saying no if you feel lazy. That's different, because it is good to get out. But picking and choosing times to deploy that no is a healthy habit that I've gotten a lot better at that has just saved me a lot of my time and energy. Number 16, spend a little extra on high quality things. This one doesn't need much explanation, but as I've said before, dishing out a little extra for high quality things, specifically clothing, has been a big unlock for me. It means I buy fewer things because they last longer, I take better care of them, I feel good in them. Some actual examples for me, because I'm not buying like designer stuff, but pretty much all of my jeans are from Levi's, Aritzia, or Reformation. Slightly higher quality denim that will last me for years. Plus some high quality sweaters and t-shirts that pair with almost anything. And now I kind of have a mix and match capsule wardrobe too. Once again, removing a lot of the guesswork out of my mornings. I'm also not a mega fashionista, so that helps a little bit. But funny enough, number 17 is kind of the flip side of this, and it's to buy used clothes. So among the more expensive, higher quality staple pieces that I buy, I supplement with thrifted clothes, which has actually been a passion of mine or something that I've really enjoyed doing since I was a kid. So a lot of the clothes you'll see in my videos are actually thrifted. Funny enough, I've actually had a lot better luck thrifting in LA than I have in New York, which is funny because I so prefer New York fashion over LA fashion, but something about those LA thrift stores, I've found a lot of gold there. Pro tip, if you really don't dig the digging process, AKA sorting through 100 things to find one decent thing, and you want a slightly more curated selection, buy-sell trade stores are great. Buffalo Exchange is probably my favorite. Crossroads I've gone to a lot in LA. These are for sure more expensive than true thrift stores like Goodwill or Salvation Army, but you have to do way less digging. Number 18, find your productive environment. Okay, so let me take you on a little journey of finding my productive environment over the last year. When I left consulting to do YouTube full time, I knew that I would need to work somewhere else that was not my bedroom. I actually really don't like working from home. I like to have the option, but yeah, when I work from home, I don't know, I kind of putter around, I watched YouTube videos. I don't know, my mind just wanders. So I've never told you guys this, but what I did to kind of solution this office space conundrum once I became a full-time YouTuber, I worked in coffee shops for a while, and I made a list of ones that I thought had good coffee, a lot of outlets, good internet, etc. But I could never find the perfect coffee shop. You know, some of them got really close, but then the music they would play would be a little too loud or too distracting, or there weren't that many outlets, and you know what I mean? There was always one missing thing. Then one day, another YouTuber friend of mine, who you guys probably know, but I'm not gonna dox her, but she asked if I wanted to co-work with her one day out of Soho House. Soho House is kind of a bougie, private, members-only club, originally founded in London, but now they have locations all over the world. Originally intended for people in the creative industry to come together to co-work and socialize. It's a little different now. It has its finance bros, but I would say largely it's still a lot of creative people and entrepreneurs. So anyway, I went one day with my friend, she signed me in. I absolutely loved it because pretty much all Soho houses, to their credit, are beautifully decorated. So anyways, that day that I went, I applied later that night to become an all-access member, meaning I could go to any of the houses. So when I went home to LA, I could work out of the Soho houses there. If I ever went to London, I could work from them there. I was approved a few weeks later, and then I started going every single day, and that was my office. And you can also get food there. I took really good advantage of this for months. But then one fateful day, another friend of mine signed me into his co-working space, which is one that you guys probably know. I've already given them too much free advertising, so I'm not gonna say. But it's a much more sterile environment, literally made for working, outlets everywhere, free coffee, fast internet, and I was so much more productive at that co-working space. So I ended up canceling my Soho House membership after a few months and switched to the co-working space that I now go to, which is made for working. And so this is a long-winded story telling you guys how I found kind of my productive space, which is something I really value. And I would also advocate for finding your productive space, because post-COVID, I know that a lot of people feel really isolated working from home, and some companies give some stipend for a co-working space. So I just think it's good to know what your productive space is. Okay, number 19, walk after eating. So I've been trying to make a better habit of going for a walk after a meal. Once again, a lot of benefits. It helps to aid digestion. It helps to regulate blood sugar. So again, those spikes that you might get, it can really help with that. So that's particularly helpful after lunch, because I still have a lot of work to do. I don't mind crashing after dinner. And then a lot of other things around improved circulation, metabolism, energy levels. Plus, again, just a good excuse to get outside and to feel like less of a crumb after a particularly heavy meal. Number 20, paint your nails. Okay, not actually paint your nails, but identify a problem area that you have, like biting your nails as an example, and flip it on its head, as I keep saying, by actually putting effort towards that thing. This is a big thing in Atomic Habits. In fact, I think that James Clear actually gives the example of someone biting their nails in the opening chapter. Okay, no, it's not in the opening chapter, but I do know that in this book, James Clear gives the example of a nail biter who addresses the problem by going to the salon to get his nails done every week. Not like painting them, but buffing them, you know, clear coat. And after not too long, that person goes from identifying as a nail biter to someone who takes care of their hands. So fun fact about me, I bought a gel machine when I was 16 and have been giving myself at-home manicures that last for 2 weeks ever since. I didn't buy it because I bite my nails, although when they're not painted, I will bite them. Not like down to the nub, but you know, kind of take a little nibble here and there. I originally bought it just to save money and so I could do a DIY gel manicure. But then eventually I just started identifying as someone who has nice nails. I also type a lot, so I like to, you know, see nice looking nails out on my keyboard. But anyways, to revisit the habit here, stay on track. It's to identify something that you want to improve. In this case, a more surface level self-care thing, and to put effort towards it. Pick something that you think will make you feel good, and I just think this is a great self-love, healthy habit. And last but not least at all, number 21 is to have a good wind down routine. This was actually one of my New Year's resolutions, and it's something I'm still refining and getting good at, but for the most part, as I reflect on the last year or so, I think I've largely succeeded. So the habit here specifically is to make your nighttime wind down routine luxurious. Make it something that you literally look forward to every day. I've very recently added dim lighting to my wind down routine because evolutionarily, you know, when the sun goes down, humans are not supposed to see artificial light. Obviously, in the modern world, that's not very realistic, but you know, small improvements where we can. I recently started turning off the sconces and the bulbous light and only turning on the floor lamp, which is a lot more dim. Because even though they're all, you know, nice, warm, diffused lights, my bedroom was still pretty bright at night with all of them on, and I needed to turn some of them off to signal to my body that it's time to start getting sleepy. I also dim the one in my bathroom while I shower and brush my teeth, and then I read for 30 to 45 minutes before turning out the light. As always, progress, not perfection. You know, sometimes I'm up really late finishing a video and tons of blue light is just flooding into my eyeballs and I can't help it. And then sometimes I stick to my good wind down routine, but I go to sleep really late because I'm just on a bad schedule. But you know, on average, over the last year, I've gotten a lot better. And having a very specific, relaxing wind down routine has helped me a lot with this. So those are 21 healthy habits that I wish I knew sooner. Let me know in the comments which one is your favorite. Maybe I can elaborate on some of these in another video. And as always, thumbs up and subscribe for free. It helps the channel a lot. I really, really would appreciate it. And until next time, Turtle out. Yeah, okay, cool. Okay, I'm gonna put you on speaker 1 second. I don't think that one makes sense for B-roll, but...
Willie, are you lifting all those? You crazy boy!